but I see people in public with headphones on, and you are so killable for the sake of listening to a song you heard 300 times. I don't understand how people go through life without ever considering that there might be somebody who wants to remove them from Earth. It's insane. I had a conversation the other day with a girl. She was talking about swimming with sharks or something, and she said how fun it would be. And I said, why would swimming with sharks be fun? And she said, oh, but the adrenaline, and it's exciting. I get adrenaline walking to my car. I have enemies who want to get me. Like by the time I leave the establishment and my head's on a swivel and I try and see if anyone's going to kill me or not, or any of the police are going to arrest me because there's a police car over there, and I finally get into the car, the door's closed, then I can relax. I have enough adrenaline in my life. I do not need sharks. No. And I kind of want to hear them coming because I think that's my only chance to survive.
Do you feel like maybe then you're living kind of paranoid?
You're paranoid every day until you're right.
Huh.
I was called paranoid every day until I was arrested.
It's true.
I kept saying, you have 3 lives. First, they cancel you. Second, they throw you in jail on some garbage. Third, they kill you. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, you're not going to jail. Jail for what? Well, here we go. Yeah, I went to jail. And then people are stupid enough to say, well, just get a lawyer. As if the law is real. As if a lawyer can help. None of it's real. It's all made up. Every single system we live under is corrupted to the core. And if you speak too loud and you get too big, they're going to punish you.
Isn't it crazy how well that I got 3 lives aged?
Bro, I've never been wrong about
anything. It aged well. It aged really well.
My whole brand is built on fantastic predictions. Like anyone who's been following me for the last 5 or 6 years, some people are new to it, but I was calling pancake swap at 10 cents, and I was calling, there's so many examples. There was actually somebody who did a fantastic edit. I'll have to find it and put it on X, where it was about 25 of my perfect predictions. And I knew I was going to go to jail because I was sitting with Tristan in Dubai, and we're sitting in this mansion that costs $250,000 a month to rent. And we've just bought our own mansion, which we're renovating. And we're sitting there, and there's all these girls in the pool, and there's a Bugatti on the drive, and everything's perfect. And Tristan goes, we made it out. Like, life's good. He just said, look around you. This is great. We're smoking shisha. And I said, no, we're fucked. Because the universe doesn't work that way. You don't get a Bugatti on your drive, 20 women in your pool, a huge mansion, children who love you, money coming. Something's going to go wrong. And Tristan said, well, what can go wrong? And I said, well, either we're going to die or we're going to go to jail. And I was right. Want to be right, but I guess it's better to be paranoid and prepared and incorrect. I think I'd rather the few times in my life when they finally write my biography, they say Andrew was only wrong a few times in his life when he had over-prepared and life went better than he expected. That's fine. I'll take those losses. I will not take a loss the other way, sir, where I'm underprepared. Random exceptions is how most of these people are living their lives.
It's crazy, isn't it?
The random exceptions is how they manage to justify their insanity and inanity. It's endless. It's crazy because if you're going to go through life thinking that exceptions disprove the rule, well, then you're a dummy. And I don't know how these people have managed to survive for so long. It kind of shows how soft societies become where these people survive. Because in days of old, the idea was that the lion will eat you if you go near the lion. Now, you may go near a lion and he's tired and he's just eaten and he's nice to you. There's exceptions that disprove the rule. But in general, if you want to survive, you have to take the rules and adapt them. Which is why I say, it's something I said which is really controversial and sent the world on crazy, but I'll say it again, I don't care. I say I don't let women drive me in cars. I don't. That's my personal choice. It's my personal preference. A man will drive me, I will drive, or I will walk. And they'll say, oh, but some women can drive. I'm sure. Yep. But in my experience, if I want to live, no, women don't drive me in cars. It's exactly the same with me. Any woman I'm with, she's like, oh, please, you drive. I was like, okay, I will. Keeps us all alive. You can play you can be DJ, you can play the songs, everything's fine. But you can't say this online because there's going to be some idiot who's going to sit there and try and pull up statistics or some garbage or find a girl who was a race car driver in 1981 and say, look, as if that disproves the rule. And you have to live your life by rules because if you don't do that, you're going to get eaten by a tiger one day. Well, we can actually, because all my gendered arguments get me in trouble.
Another disclaimer.
As a professional, I was lying, I'm a comedian. As a professional, I'm going to extrapolate it out towards something else. But I think that I don't trust anybody who doesn't have emotional stability in general. I think we could argue, in general, men are more emotionally stable than women. So if you're going to put somebody in a stressful situation, whether it's aquaplaning a car, turbulence on a plane, physical violence, whatever it is, you're going to want somebody who has emotional stability and emotional control. You're not going to want somebody who panics easily. And, I mean, maybe I know particularly feminine women, but the women I know will panic if I say think fast and throw a starburst at them, let alone an actual event which can be life or death. So, Yeah, emotional stability is extremely important in dangerous situations. There's interesting points because we just talked about how exceptions don't disprove the rule.
Yeah.
And that's also, abortion's a subject where that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Where you say, I think abortion is wrong. What if she's raped?
Yeah.
Who gets pregnant from rape in general?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, yeah, perhaps. What if she's raped and the guy who raped her has AIDS? And it's like, bro, where is this argument going?
Yeah.
This is just going down a rabbit hole of insanity. And as for the Ocean Gate thing, the thing that always perplexed me about that, and I speak as somebody with a whole bunch of money, and I know I'm risk averse, as we've just discussed. The podcast has already begun. If you try and make me do extreme things, I'm like, no, walking to my car is extreme. No, thank you. But the fact that people went down on a submarine to the Titanic to look at the Titanic through a TV screen, as opposed to sending the submarine on its own and watching it on the TV screen from the yacht, is amazing to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe they could sit and say, oh, but I'm closer to the... Bro, you're watching it through a screen. What's the difference?
Yeah.
And now you're crushed to death.
In a little soda can.
Bro.
That was so stupid.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was hard to feel sorry for them. The memes were epic. I mean, obviously it was a terrifying thing, but the memes were off the chain. I kind of felt bad when I'd laugh at some of them. I'd be like, oh man, that must be scary. But I don't know. Didn't it cross their mind that this is just pointless? If they would have said to me, hey, you can go down in this little soda can, you can see the submarine. I was like, through what window? Oh, there's no windows. Through this screen. I would have said, okay, thank you. Then send the submarine. It takes like 6 hours to get down there or something.
Yeah.
You send the submarine. I'm going to spend the next 6 hours in the gym. And you let me know we're at the bottom. I got stuff to do. That's a very good question. I'm not a philanthropist. I don't do it from a philanthropic point of view. I do it because I think that if you have a large platform and you're a man and you're afraid to tell the truth, then you're a coward. So I do it for myself. I help all the people who come to me and say, you've helped all these people, or you've helped me, or you've done these amazing things for society. That's great. But I don't see it philanthropic. I think it would be unfair and disingenuous for me to sit here and say, I'm trying to save the world. I know I have a platform and I know what the truth is, and I'm not a coward, and I'm glad that I am helping people. And I think that's very important. And I think that God's light is truth. And the more you spread the truth, the harder it is for demons to control us all. And I also believe that raw action solves everything. I think that, just as you said, I just got up and started working and just started the pod. Raw action solves everything. So I believe if you have an objective, you should attack it, absolutely. But I do it because I think it. I think these things and people listen to me, so I will say them. And I know I am punished for that, but I don't see the alternative. I think I would be a coward to sit and say, well, I think these things, but I shouldn't say it because it's going to upset XYZ, the Matrix, as we've seen it does. But could I live with myself as a coward? I don't think so. So if people are going to listen to me and I'm going to talk, then I'm going to tell them exactly what I believe and think and exactly what is true. And that's why I do it. And I'm glad I'm helping people. What's interesting is, I guess maybe I am a good person after. Because if I was saying things that I believed hurt people, I don't think I'd do it. Now, if you want to get deeper down the rabbit hole, would I believe the things I believe and think the things I think if they were detrimental and they hurt people? Probably not. But if I was saying things that I thought genuinely was damaging society, I'd be a lot more likely to be quiet. It's actually quite an interesting thought experiment for me to understand how I'd have a worldview which I believe propagating would damage society. I can't work that one out exactly. However, I know I'm helping people. I know I'm helping society. I know I'm helping individuals. I'm damaging the Matrix, but I'm helping individuals because there's no light without dark. So if you help individualism, you're damaging collectivism. There's no other way about it. If you say to people, I'm gonna tell you how I think, and it's gonna make your particular life better, and it benefits that one individual, that's bad for the ant farm. You don't want one ant to stand up and say, this is garbage. You don't want one ant to say, I'm tired of carrying dirt. This is stupid. No. So I understand what I'm doing is good for the individual and it's bad for the matrix as a whole. But I'm just telling my story and things I've learned and things I've worked out. And it's very interesting you said about this book. I haven't read a book since jail. I don't read books ever. Everything I say is just me learning the hard way. And I guess I'd like some people at home to learn from my lessons, and perhaps they can get some of the benefit without such a hard time, but we'll see how it goes. It does make me braver. It makes me braver because it makes me feel like my suffering's worthwhile, because I am suffering. I want everyone at home to understand that I don't need to do, you're right, I don't need to do any of this. I don't need money. I don't need the views. It's detrimenting my life. I've lost millions and millions of dollars, and I've gone to jail, and all my banks have been frozen, and they're trying to put me back, and all of this is happening. But I think when you ask who our enemies are, I don't think it's as simple as naming a family or the deep state, etc. I think the enemy is deception. demons operate from the dark, and we're living in a world which is built on lies. Every single thing is a lie. Everything they tell you is a lie. Every system you're supposed to believe in is corrupted to the core. And I think if you're going to make or build a correct society, a fair and just society, you should at least do it under the guise of truth. If you're looking at a chessboard and you have to decide the move you want to make, well, you want to understand the chessboard first. You have to analyze the chessboard and see where the pieces are. We can't do that now because the entire chessboard's cloaked in darkness. You don't know how the legal system works. You don't know how the political system works. You don't know how the financial system works. So when they come along and say, we need to do this for the good of society, how can you even make that decision when you haven't even seen how society functions? So I think if you just tell the truth about everything all the time, from there, perhaps it would be chaotic for a while as the matrix breaks. It's very likely. But at least if you tell the truth all the time, you have a fair starting block. You have a clear chessboard from where you can decide what moves should be made for how society should function. And we're all humans, and humans are fallible. None of us are perfect. We're making mistakes, and we've built these systems to keep some semblance of peace and serenity amongst society, and we've done an okay job for a while. But I think now we're entering a stage where the highly politicized judicial systems, along with the highly politicized medical system, along with the highly politicized financial system, along with the highly politicized, we're getting to a point now where everything's about to crumble. And I think it's very important that everyone understands the truth of how the world operates before that happens. And my hope is that we can build a new system, or there's a new age and a new world where things are genuinely fair and just. I don't want to go on, but just for everyone at home, if you think the law is fair and just, you're going to learn the hard way that it's not. You're going to learn the very hard way. You can go into any jail in any country in the world, and you'll find people who got screwed by their lawyer or screwed by the system. Black, white, rich, poor, everybody. And of course, everyone thinks of the police and the judicial system as somebody kills someone, police catches them, goes to jail. And they do that well, and they're supposed to. But there's also the innocent guy who forgot a number on a piece of paper once in 2001, and his life's over.